Meteorologist Khambrel Marshall is retiring.
That's right.
Khambrel has been working in this industry for 48 years and has been with us here in Houston for nearly 24 years.
So that's why I'm putting this bow tie on right now, and we keep saying it's a bittersweet day because it is officially his last day. His last broadcast was on Sunday, but today he's going to be joining us for a farewell in just a minute.
Yeah, I think he's joining us right now to talk about this chapter, one chapter closing, a new one beginning.
Yep.
I know. I don't wear them as well as you do, but I'm efforting. I'm trying.
I tried my hardest to this
green
morning.
is going with everything else, though. So you, the fashion plate that you are.
Oh.
You're always good at giving compliments, Khambrel.
Yes, always so sweet. So talk to us. What are you going to miss the most here, and what are you most looking forward to?
Well, I'm going to miss the people.
Yeah.
I think more than anything else. And people who've left here already, they've told me that that's what they miss as well. And I think that's pretty clear because I'm really into individuals. You know, I'm into everybody's. I'm not nosy, but I just want to know how everybody's doing. Ask about your sons, ask about your dog. So that's just who I am. So I'm going to miss that part. But I'm not going to miss the requirement to be here 5 days a week and getting up at 2:30 in the morning on Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Rushing to make deadlines.
That's not going to, I'm not missing that at all. And so, interesting, the alarm went off this morning, and my wife says, "Why is your alarm going off?" And I said, "Honey,
not yet.
I still have one more day. After today, you know, tomorrow we won't set the alarm."
We're not there yet. Wow,
So,
can you imagine not setting an alarm again?
I can.
After so many
nice.
years?
I practiced during Thanksgiving.
I practiced.
I practiced during Thanksgiving to see how that worked. It felt pretty good, actually.
You know, and I just
saw
want
that picture there. Did you see the picture? There was a
What
picture
they
they put up there of me on the set with. I'm not sure that.
Dominique.
Okay, that's Dominique, but I think they had someone on the set.
Well, we're moving towards that. So, like, what is this? What are these memories here that we're looking
that
at?
shot that you just saw, and this is in Miami now, by the way. That stuff is from Miami, where I was the primary anchor there, 5, 6, and 11 o'clock there. I look kind of young there.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so I was doing stories as an anchor. We go
You
out in the
haven't
community.
changed one bit.
Yeah.
No, you really
This
haven't.
is the shot I was looking at earlier that I saw, and that was
wow.
with Frank and Dominique, and now that's Linda Laurel.
Linda, yeah.
Back in the day, now we have the cameras in the studio temporarily, in the newsroom temporarily.
Yeah.
But back then, our studio cameras were in the newsroom. So all of that stuff you see in the background is me and Bill Baez, one of the, back in the day when we had the muscular dystrophy.
Yes, the telethon.
Yeah. Jerry Lewis telethon here, which kind of went by the wayside. Everybody stopped doing those.
Yeah, across the country,
Yeah, better ways to raise money, so they stopped all of that. This was our anchor team back when I was here.
Yeah,
Chris Raggy is now in New York, and of course everybody else is kind of still around. I mean, Dominique and Bill and Linda are still in town, and we see them from time to time. So, but that was our little card that we put out.
I love looking back on
that's
the
kind of
memories.
neat.
That is cute.
Yeah,
It's
that's
really
good
neat.
stuff.
Didn't you mention that your first broadcast, your first anchoring was with Dominique?
Yeah. When I first got here, my regular shift was the noon, 4 and 5 with Dominique. So I'd come in 8, 9 o'clock, and we get ready. We do the noon, and we do the 4 o'clock, and we do the 5 o'clock.
What was your
our
first
shift.
like memorable report that you did when you got here? Do you remember?
I think one of the more memorable ones, we had Tropical Storm, I think, Allison, which was here. And it wasn't right as I got here, but it was within that first year or so where everything got shut down. We see video, we look back in videos, we see underneath 610, we see tractor trailers with the waters all the way up to the top and that sort of thing. And that was just a tropical storm. I was in meteorology then. I was a geek about meteorology then, but I was not in the meteorological team.
And it was here you made that transition.
I made the transition while I was here, I went to Mississippi State. They have a great program where they include physics and calculus and those kinds of things that scared me away from it when I was in college. Because I was going to look at it in college. From high school.
A journalist would run right away from that.
I know, absolutely. This is what I want to do. I want to do this. And I started looking at the colleges and the prerequisites with physics and calculus and all this other kind of stuff. And I said, you know,
I don't speak that.
Yeah, right? That's a foreign language,
So sociology would be better. So I was a history major initially. Then I was a sociology major. So broadcasting was my third major. So that's what I tell my grandkids and my kids was they were growing up, that you can make decisions and you can change, that there's plenty of time. And when you look back,
you
realize that, you know, there really wasn't an awful lot of time. But when you're going through it, it seems like, I got to make a decision. I got to do something right now. And that's not the way it is sometimes. You get through with it and you move on. And it's, I look back on it, it's been great to be able to have made the changes I made. Some of you have to make.
Yeah.
You have to make. I mean, people say, you've done everything. Well, some of it I've done because I pretty much had to.
That's the only constant in news, is adapting to that change.
One of our former presidents of the company said that. It's probably the only thing he said that actually made sense.
He can say that on his last day.
I can say, what are you going to do, you know? Plus, he's a former president. You know who you are.
Can't wait for retirement.
But one of the things he said was true. He says, the only thing that we can count on in this business is change. And how well you can adapt to it is going to be the difference on whether you can succeed or not. And I found out that that's actually true about anything you do in life.
Yeah. Well, you've done it
nowadays.
so wonderfully, and you've done it so gracefully. You know, when you sign up to work in news, this becomes more than just a job. It becomes a career. It becomes a lifestyle, and you've had the opportunity to work all across the country, and to awe people in homes across those cities. And it has been such an honor to. I've only worked with you a fraction of what these people have, and it's really truly been an honor. You were so welcoming on day one. I brought with me what you gave me. This is a Texas Almanac. And I remember he told me, if you're going to be successful here, this will be your Bible. And I have to admit, this is something that I've consulted several times. There have been a few times I did not have it. It's been sitting at home on a shelf, and I'm like, man, I wish I had this or Khambrel close by. But I know you will always be just a phone call
that was
away.
costing me a lot of money too, as we were getting new people in.
He's like, I've got to stop this tradition.
I'm glad we stopped hiring all these new people. But that was a good thing when you come from out of town.
Oh, absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
Great.
This truly has become a great resource. And really, I would even argue that, there are some things that Houstonians could
absolutely
learn from this book.
And I'm a geek about history anyway, so that's why I look at it.
And so, speaking of history, and you mentioned you majored in sociology, is that what helped you with Newsmakers for all these years? Like, how much are you gonna miss Newsmakers?
That's going to be a big. I credit Jerry Martin, by the way, our former general manager, who was here, and he's the one who asked me to do Newsmakers. We had a program on called Beyond the Headlines, and it was on at 5:30 in the morning on Sundays. And Jerry came in. He says, "Okay, first of all, the person who's doing it is not a regular on-air person, so I want you to do it. I want to put it in a place where it can be seen." And so we started to do it. I had a producer. Initially, we had a producer doing it, and then eventually, I don't know what happened, but the producer went away.
Things changed, as we mentioned.
And then it was just a one-man band. So I was responsible for calling people and getting them on and all that kind of stuff. But it's so unique because I found out that so many people in this community really just care about this community.
Of course,
They want this community to be great. Now, they have different ways they want to do it. But they found that on the Newsmakers program that I would give them an opportunity to talk about it. It wasn't like an adversarial, I just...
Or a debate opportunity.
Over that.
It was right.
I'm over that. But you have to ask tough questions sometimes.
Uncomfortable questions.
Yeah, they can be. And I think... But people knew that they were going to get a fair shake. And I appreciate all of the people who came on, whether they be nonprofits or whether they be politicians or just people who make decisions. And I had pretty much everybody on the program. I mean, the only couple of people who didn't make it, Ted Cruz didn't make the program. I'm not really sorry he didn't, because I asked him a number of times and he never could make it. And he came on as he was running for senator.
Of course.
But once he became senator, he didn't want to come on anymore. So I always felt a little bit...
And no excuse, he lives right here.
He's right here. And I said, come on, really? Yeah. And Troy Nels is another one. Troy Nels has never been on the program. He actually was scheduled to come on the program twice and canceled the day of the program because of various different reasons. And then after he made Congress, he never came on the program. And I find that to be kind of interesting because he was a... I think I'm going to save some of this for after I get off and I'm doing my podcast or whatever I'm doing.
Speech at lunch.
Well, but I'm a hardcore independent. And I think everybody who's come on the program, they know that I'm a hardcore independent. I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, which sometimes bothers some people close to me who think I should be more of the way they think, but it's just the way it is. But I think I can be much more effective as somebody who's asking questions.
Absolutely.
If they know, hey, look, I'm asking only from the standpoint of a journalist who has a realistic question to ask and not based upon any kind of ideological tone. So that's why the Newsmakers program is really exciting for me, and I've really enjoyed that track quite a bit.
If people only knew how much work you poured into that, how much it requires to put a show on the air like that, and you were doing it almost entirely by yourself. So kudos to you. Thank you for bringing that to
It was love, though.
so many years.
It was a love thing. It really was. I really enjoyed doing it, and I can't tell you how many people who've come up to me who said, "What's going to happen?" I said, "Well, I don't know, but I'm not doing it."
One observation I had, and
I'm gonna be sleeping.
One observation I had, and I want you.
I didn't mean for it to come out quite like that, but
one observation I had, and I want our viewers at home to be aware of, is even on your days off, you were here at your desk, not coming in at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. He was here at 4 a.m. working on that show. And I know that show means so much to you. One observation I had, and it's a question that I wanted to ask you about. When we look back on your career, I noticed there was a point in which you switched from the traditional tie to a bow tie. What's the reason there?
The history?
I want to know why.
Well, it was very actually just kind of a normal thing that happened. I did a lot of I still have done for a long time MC events and things like that. That's one of the things I get a joy out of. And one night, this is when I was working the weekend evening weather shift, and I had an event to do in between shows. But I was a formal event, and I had my tux on, and it was a festive. In fact, it was around Christmas time when this happened, and I didn't have time to change. So I came back and I did it 10 o'clock with my bow tie and everything else. And the reaction was immediate about, "Hey, we really like that." And I said,
I might be onto something.
Maybe I'll do it. But and then I was buying the pre-tied ties because I didn't know how to tie bow tie, and so I started wearing them on a regular basis, just the month of December.
Yeah.
And I remember, I never will forget, I was in the bathroom washing my hands, and my general manager was in there, and he said, "Hey, what's with those bow ties?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?"
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I could tell the tone was,
right.
I don't know if I like that or not. And I said, "Jerry, a lot."
I was going to ask if this sounds a lot
I said, Jerry, a lot of women love this bow tie.
That's all you had to say, right?
Right, because that's the demo.
Right, yes,
I mean,
of course.
if women love what we do, we do it. And so that's when I started doing it, and I had to learn how to tie a bow tie, which was, interesting. But thanks to YouTube, I was able to do that. So.
Well, listen, this took me an extra 15 minutes to tie this morning.
Yeah, same.
Where a traditional tie takes 2 minutes. Yeah.
And so I know we're kind of wrapping this up here, but the internship program, I would like to remind people that if you haven't heard, Khambrel was in charge of our internship program. And so many journalists currently in the business have Khambrel to thank for your guidance and everything. And have you heard some of we had messages from some of them this morning even thanking you for your time.
I have. It's been really gratifying. I got a letter from a guy named Jeff Tabbs, who he says, and I remember him well, but I don't remember that I played a role in what he's doing. But now he is an executive producer or something up in Salt Lake now. But he thanked me for that I gave him his first job on TV. And that he became an executive producer and is part of NBC, and he went and did the NBC China Olympics, and he's done a lot of different things. He was thankful for that. But there are a lot of people who've been emailing, and I just saw a young lady just recently, yesterday in fact, how she's gotten a job someplace else. Robert Sherman, who's over for News Nation, he's over covering the Middle Eastern things, and he's one of those guys I hear from all the time. There's a lot of young people who do. Kathy Hernandez was one of the interns. Now
Caroline Brown.
Yeah. Now Kathy was the intern just before I took over the program. She was an intern. Same thing with our executive producer Louis Lochte. They were in that program. I wasn't in charge of it then
at the time,
but I was in their chops. Hey, what are you doing? Do this, do that. And so, but if we can give back and help make a difference in the life of somebody who's really interested in this business, because when the kids come in here, they're just wide-eyed and they don't know what they're getting into. So you got to be a realist with them and tell them what's going on, and try to hopefully plant in them what journalism really is.
Yeah, because we need a solid pipeline coming up.
We need a solid pipeline because there's so many people who are subjective in what they want to do, and this got this Me Too. This is your phone. All about Me TV. All about Me TV. Let me see. Let me do this TikTok. Let me do this. Let me do this.
It's a public service.
It absolutely is, and so we have to get away from that. And that's what I try to teach the kids.
Internships are really near and dear to our heart. This is something that we have in common. We both were at CBS News, and I know this, of course, is something that is near and dear to your heart. You always remember the people who don't help you, who push you down. But with that, you always remember the people who lift you up and who help you along the way. And you, sir, have helped so many people along the way. I cannot think of a single person in this room, maybe even this community, that you have not impacted in a positive way. From us on air to engineers, directors, punching the buttons right now, our producers. You have been so helpful and inspirational to so many.
And you're just so well liked. I mean, just in the time since we announced your retirement, the people who were able to come forward and share stories, I mean, that doesn't happen for everybody who leaves the news business. Not mentioning any names, but you know what I mean.
I do know. Well, I'm my
So
mother's
we hope
son.
you're flattered. We hope that you feel the love.
I do, but it's very uncomfortable for me because I can fight and I can really be a megaphone for people and organizations that I am responsible for helping. I can talk all day about that. We want to talk about Collaborative for Children and the need and the necessity to go ahead and give our children early childhood education. I can do that all day. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the JCC. We'll talk about all those things, but that's their things, their organizations, not me. You know, so it's very uncomfortable for me to do. But my daughter has reminded me a couple times. My daughter, she went against her father's wishes, and she got into this business. I've forgiven her because I love her. But now she's the best. She's really, she's the director of marketing now at her television station. So she got out of the news part. But she told me, she said, Daddy, just soak it up. You know, you've worked hard, because she's watched what I've done throughout my life, and she just soak it up. She knows how I am too. I'd rather not. You know, it's just awkward talking about me, but she's just soak it up and enjoy it, and that's what I'm going to do. I got one more day because I'll go home. My wife has all kind of jobs for me at home.
Right?
So I'm going to want to maybe stick around here for a little while.
This is when the real full-time job kicks in.
They say I'm retiring, but I'm going to be here anyway, just kind of hanging around. So, what's that guy doing here?
Well, you're welcome anytime. I know.
Well, your daughter gave you great advice. I do hope that you soak it in. I understand, as a journalist, spending your whole career asking about other people's lives and other people's stories, it can be uncomfortable. But we hope you feel that way, because that means that we're showing enough love today.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your green thumb. I know. I don't know if we can. I don't think we have a camera.
Is that on the honey-do list? Do you have to garden?
You know what? I got a nice basket on Sunday from Jen McDonald, who is with GardenGirlsTexas.com, GardenGirlsTX.com. I've been using their advice on my weekend weather for people who want to go out and garden. She brought me a little basket and whatever. And I've got some stuff over there next to the wall there. It started with some flowers that I brought for Christy Noel, who's our former anchor here. Her dog had died, and I brought a basket for her, little flowers. And they had the flowering stuff, which dies off a little bit, but they also had some stuff that was, and it was on her desk, and she was getting ready to leave town anyway, and it was like dying. So I said, yeah, we're not going to have that. So I took it and I put, so there's plants over by my desk. I've got some of that, and I've got some basil, and I've got some other stuff, a poinsettia. I don't know. Do you want to take it over?
Well, you told me I was inheriting one of the bulbs, right? The bulbs that are now sprouting.
Yeah, the bulbs. The paper whites.
Yes,
that's what they're called.
The paper whites.
And they're really.
They are.
Yeah,
they are. A few weeks ago, they were just bulbs, and now they have the full-on sprout.
I've got the original thing that I gave Christine, which is still there as well, which requires a little bit more, whatever. But I've already taken some shoots from that, and at home, I've got those at home. So I've got
already thriving.
Yeah, they're growing there. So
I remember bringing Christine a plant also when her pet had passed, her dog had passed, and it was an orchid. And I brought it to him, and there was nothing. You know, the light's kind of tricky down here, so we brought it up to Jonalyn, and she saved it.
That's up in our finance department. So, yeah, I may do some of that at home, but that's not going to be high up on the list. There's so many other things that.
The grandkids.
Grandkids are coming for Christmas, so we're already planning plans. They're not going to be here very long, so we're going to it's going to be like boot camp. Get up, we're going to go have fun. Get up, we got this place to go. We're
going to enjoy our time.
That's so sweet.
Awesome. I'm glad that you're going to have more time to spend with them. I know that you love them dearly.
I do. I've got my 20-year-old, my 14, just turned 14 years old on the 11th. And then my Riel's going to be 4 on December 26th. And Ronnie just turned 2 on September 21st. So it's just fun to be able to do. I've already started making plans for that. But first thing is just for the first 3 months, at least first 3 months. At least that's what the plan is right now, to do nothing but go to bed early, sleep late, take care of myself, eat healthy, work out, do things that are for my back and some other issues that I have. I'm just gonna let the stress of having to
Breathe.
be
Love that.
It's been 48 years of almost constant, with the exception of about 6 months where I was between jobs. It's been doing
Go,
this.
go, go,
Going
go.
this, doing
Yeah.
this, doing this.
Yeah.
So we'll
So
take some
3
time.
months of self-care, that sounds like
To
just
begin
what a
with.
doctor would
Hopefully
order.
it'll turn into a whole next life of self-care.
I love
I
it.
mean, that's what it should
Yeah.
be, right? We should be doing that anyway.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
3 months is just to detox from news.
Yeah, right.
And then the rest of your life is
You might need a
self-care.
year for that. Yeah,
I know,
after
I know.
almost 50 years.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be checking back in with you in 3 months. You know, especially here on the stream. You'll be no stranger. Maybe we'll give you a call and
All right.
let us know how things are going.
Okay, well, so I'll be all together.
If you're available, that
I'll
is.
look different. I'll have to check. I mean, I've got
Look different. Still look
some things to
amazing.
do. I'm setting up. I have a website that has been dormant that I'm going to redo.
Get back to,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's KhambrelMarshall.com for anybody who wants to go there. My email's already there.
So we can stay in touch with you that way.
Khambrel at KhambrelMarshall.com is my email, and that's up right now. Okay. So, and I've got an LLC that'll be established and stuff, so that any jobs and money that's going to come through in my retirement and whatever I'm going to do, if it be freelance or other kind of things, it'll go through the LLC. So all of that's going to be up and running. But I'm not going to
thinking.
jump into that stuff and go,
Right.
oh, I got to do this. I got to get back. No.
No, it's me time for a little bit.
Me time. Totally.
I like
me
that
time.
a lot.
Yeah.
I love it. We are so excited for you. Congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
well-deserved
Yes.
retirement.
Thank
and
you
thanks for
very much.
joining us here on the
Yeah.
show.
You're welcome. You done with me now? Can I go?
Thank you, sir. I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
All right.